So this short video is going to talk about something that I use pretty frequently on paintings, especially larger paintings that have some dark passages in them, and that's retouching. It's one of those things that there are artists that know all about it and use it pretty frequently, and then it seems like there's a decent amount of artists, and oil painters specifically, that really aren't familiar with it, or if they are, they're not familiar enough that they're willing to use it in their paintings. Retouching it's a tool. It's just one of those things that you can implement that will help you get to a better finished product. And you use it because paint is sinking in on the surface, and usually those paints that are sinking in are the darkest notes, the darkest passages in a piece. And it's just simply one of those things that, in order for you to judge values and other colors accurately, if I'm painting this right here, I need to know what this passage and this passage is as far as value, intensity, and temperature. All of these things right now are inaccurate. I can tell because this surface is matte, and it really isn't telling the story that it should be. So in order for me to push this painting into the next level, I have to bring everything up into where it would be if the painting was still wet. Having said that, when you retouch a painting, the whole surface needs to be dry. If it's not, and you're taking this brush and you're moving it across the surface, you're simply going to drag color. You're going to reactivate that color and drag it through the rest of your painting, and that's simply going to make a lot more work for you. So first and foremost, this painting needs to be completely set and dry, which it is. And second, there are paintings that I do that I never retouch. I simply don't need to, because there's not enough of these dark notes and dark passages in it that sinking in is going to be an issue for me. Then there's paintings like this one that simply require it. After you've built up, this is only the second layer of paint, but after you've built up a few layers of paint on top of this, you're not going to have the issue with these dark notes becoming matte again or sinking in. It's just at the very beginning and halfway point, which this painting is, it's right about at 50%, you just have to, or at least I do. In order for me to accurately paint the rest of this, everything needs to be brought back up, and that's what we're going to do. So hopefully I'm going to zoom the camera in onto the paint surface, and you can kind of see what happens. Especially pay attention to these areas, because they'll immediately become a lot darker and a lot more shiny, and really back to where they should be in order to paint. On the technical side, really quickly, there's a whole world of products out there that people use. The one that I use, that I've used for a few years now, is it's a 50-50 mixture of Galkyd and Gamasol. I'm technically using Galkyd Light and Gamasol. There's retouch varnishes out there. They come in aerosol form or in a jar. It's really just gets down into an experimentation. I particularly like this because I can mix up the amount that I need, and it goes on pretty nicely. And Gamblin has a video on their website that is done by I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he is the one that runs their materials and the materials department, and he shows you basically how to do this. And I found that it's pretty effective, and yeah. So give me a second. I'm going to zoom the camera in. We'll retouch this, and I'll kind of show you what we're looking for and what it's going to do. So okay, we're going to go ahead and retouch this painting. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down, and keeping the brush fairly flooded with the retouch mix. You don't want it's just kind of one of those happy mediums. You don't want the the retouch medium slopping off of the painting, but you want to make sure that you have enough on it that you are covering the entire surface. And I'll go in kind of a varying of strokes, so I'm not gonna do it where it's just this way or just this way. I'm gonna kind of move the brush around fairly quickly and try to get everything down. Try to keep my arm out of the way. I'm not used to doing it like this, sorry. So we're getting ready to come down into the darkest passages, and hopefully you'll see a little bit of a change. And a lot of times I'll look at the painting and raking light, and then it'll kind of show me some of the spots that I've missed, which I missed a couple down here. And I think that'll about do it. So what I do now, and this is kind of per the Gamblin website, is I'll let this sit on here for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll come back in with a really, you want to use a lint-free towel and wipe off the excess. It'll sit for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then it's ready to go. But down here and up here, right in here, there is a marked change. I can now see that what this should be and compared to what this is. And that's kind of retouching. That's what I do, and again, it's just one of those tools that I use every now and then when it needs to be used. So hopefully that helped, and yeah.